Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Good day, good afternoon, good evening, traders. Today we'll be looking at what to expect for the month of August. We'll also look at this week's setups, and as always, you'll get to see a real-time analysis of the pairs. So since we're looking at what to expect for August, we'll be looking at higher time frames. If you don't know how to do a real-time analysis or analysis from higher time frames down to lower time frames, check out my video on Analysis 101. So let's start off with crude oil. On the weekly chart, we can see that crude oil has bounced and is currently bullish. It's in an ascending channel, but it still is bullish until it breaks below these lows. So if I move this low here, until it goes below these lows, it's still in a bullish state. And on a weekly chart, price is rising correctively, which means we should expect another move down. Let's go to our daily. Okay, on our daily, we see in July, we had a nice rise to the top of this trend line here. Price is currently consolidating this area, and RSI is overbought. So we're looking for a move down within this month of August. So we're looking for this type of move. Okay, and if we use our tools, our favorite tool, the Fibonacci, we can see that price can move. There's our sweet spot, 786. So price has a good distance that it can still move down. Let's go to the 4-hour. Okay, in the 4-hour, you can see price has made a nice strong bearish bounce here. Give us a nice bearish candle, and it's currently in the process. It is giving us two bottoms and one current top. So price can come back up and test this high again before breaking down and continuing lower. Once again, using our Fibonacci, we can see that the possible moves down can come all the way to 46.58, or it can also retrace all the way down and before moving back up. But we're still bullish this pair until we break some lows on the higher time frames. So that's what we have for oil. Okay, gold. Gold has bounced here, which means we're currently still in a bullish sentiment for gold. Price pushed up to the top of this trend line. It's currently looking like it is giving us a bounce. See the red candle forming there. So for the month of July, we had a lot of positive bullish movement up there. Lots of pips were gained there. Right now, we're looking for another move to come back down. So we've had 1, 2, 3 waves here. So if we can either continue out and break out of this pattern, or go for a 4th and a 5th wave out. Let's look at the daily. Okay, on the daily, we've just started to get a nice bearish movement out. We're over on the RSI, and MACD is still pushing down. So right now, in the lower time frame as our daily and probably our 240, we are bearish on the pair, but overall sentiment is still bullish. But for getting trades this week, let's see what we got. Okay, we can see price is nearing our 20 area on the RSI, which means price should eventually move back up. So maybe a retest of this area before moving lower. nice bearish impulses. So we're still counting this bounce here. So right now we're looking for shorting opportunities until it actually breaks out of this pattern. So this week, if you go on lower time frames, you can look for a bullish movement and possibly a break here or another bounce at the top, and we're going back short again. So to know the possibilities is the most important thing. All right, the dollar index. Dollar's been struggling since our new president has come into office. As we see these lows here. Prices coming down and testing these lows. We've been on basically a nosedive since early this year. Dollar has just been plummeting. Don't know where we're going to stop, but right now we are in our oversold area, so we should be looking for some type of relief, some type of bullish. Here's our daily. As we can see on the daily, we had a nice bounce here. Prices pushed up. It went beyond our 4-hour high. We're looking for it to make another low, a higher low, to give us the indication that it's going to continue in a bullish move. So right now, once it gives us a low, once it gives us that low area, then we can start looking for a pattern to develop and for us to continue looking for it to go more northward movement. But right now, dollar looks good for moving into strength, and you'll see that on the other pairs that we look at, the dollar pairs coming up next. But we did have a nice bullish candle that has overtaken the previous high and is coming to a new high here. So let's continue looking forward to dollar strength for this week. Okay, here's euro dollar. As we can see, euro dollar is pushing up in the same way as the dollar index is moving down. There's really no previous high to look for, so right now we're in uncharted waters. It is broken north of this pattern, which everyone was hoping that it was going to break down and the dollar was going to strengthen, but that was all in relation to our elections and other things. Let's look at the daily. Okay, in the daily, we see that price is in ascending channel. Okay, we see we're overbought here. So price can do one of two things. It can fall down and retest some of these lows. It can come down here and retest some of these lows. Or price can form a continuation pattern. Form some continuation pattern and then continue moving bullish. So we'll have to see, but right now this week we're looking for a pattern to form. So remember, we trade the patterns, we don't trade naked. We're always looking for a pattern to show us what price is going to do. As you can see here, we had a nice bearish candle along with the dollar index, and so we're expecting some type of continuation pattern to possibly form for more down. And probably a retest of these lows in this area. So let's see what we get. Okay, dollar pound. Dollar pound had a bounce earlier, and so it is currently moving up from that bounce. So we have a ascending channel which should break down, or you can call it a flag, whatever you like to call it, but we're looking for price to eventually make this type of move and come down and retest this lows. Okay. On our daily, we see the daily, just like the euro dollar, we have gotten that nice bearish move. Hopefully it comes down and breaks these lows to give us the indication that it will continue down. Otherwise, we'll look for a continuation pattern to form or a complete reversal. Okay, so once again, we need to know the possibilities so we can trade the possibilities, and we trade the pattern. So right now, price has broken this pattern. We're waiting for a new pattern to form. We see prices in the middle of the RSI, and we do have MACD divergence. So price is pushing lower. Let's look on our 4-hour. 4-hour, we see a nice bearish candle, continuation pattern flag there, and another bearish impulse. So what we should expect this week is another continuation pattern and probably a retest of this low here. Okay, so I'll post the setups on TradingView as I see them, and we'll go from there. Okay, dollar yen. Dollar yen is forming a funky little pattern here. First we're getting a flag, and now that flag is adjusting to more of a flat type channel. We're still bearish based on this we're still bullish based off of this big bullish impulse. So we're still looking for price to continue to push north. RSI is in the middle area, so nothing showing us where to go there. MACD is at a very low area, so price can move either direction here. So let's look at our daily and see what the daily shows us. Okay, our daily shows us we're getting a bounce, bullish bounce here off of this pattern. So we should look for some bullish movement this week, possibly to the top of this trend line, but definitely should look for some movement, some bullish movement this week. Let's look at our 4-hour. Okay, 4-hour, we see a break of the pattern. So the 4-hour broke this descending channel just barely, but enough, and we see we have MACD divergence, push prices pushing up. So we should expect some more bullish movement, maybe a continuation pattern will form, and then will give us a good indication that it is going to continue north. Okay, dollar CAD. Dollar CAD, once again, everybody was waiting for this movement here, waiting for this pattern to break. I hope people are still in. I know we jumped in back and forth a few times after the break. Right now, price has given us a nice low. It's gone oversold on RSI and now starting to make a move up. Now this price could move all the way back up here, but it also could just form a continuation pattern and continue down. On the weekly here, we see that. Let's go on our daily. Daily, we see that price is in the middle here, so which means it is not going up that much further, okay, before it's going to give us some type of usable pattern to trade. MACD is not giving us any indications except for pushing down. No divergence, no bearish divergence or bullish divergence. So let's look at our 4-hour. Okay, 4-hour, we see. And these are some very good trades. If you don't know some of the trades that we take, we love retests of highs and lows. Those are we have about 3 different trades, called trades that we use based off of a retest of highs and lows. So as you see here, price gave a low, gave a nice bullish movement, then came back down and retested that low, and has now pushed up from that retest almost 250 pips. So now price right now on our RSI is overbought. in the overbought area, so we should be expecting some type of continuation movement and then more bullish movement north. But we'll see. Once a pattern forms, we'll go from there. Once a pattern forms, that is the most important. We need to have our patterns. Patterns are the key. Okay, so we're looking for some type of continuation pattern to form here and give us more bullish movement. Okay, Dollar Chief. As you can see here on the week, prices bounced here off of this trend line. We're in the middle of RSI, but moving north. So right now on the weekly time frame, we are bullish sentiment. It has broken some highs on the weekly candles and is still moving north, but not with the strength that we would like to see. Okay, on the daily, you can see these nice bullish candles here. That's showing us this price is moving north. RSI is nearing the overbought area. So price could form some type of continuation pattern, maybe something like this with two flat, maybe a flat or some type of pattern. When it forms, we'll see it and we'll trade it. 4 hour. Okay, a 4 hour shows us we have a little pattern break north. If you just want to connect the lines. You see here we've gotten the movement down, which is this movement here. So if you just want to do the most recent pattern, it would look something like this. Okay, on that most recent movement, we had that break, and right now price is not completely overbought, but it hasn't given us a usable pattern to trade right now on the 4 hour or the daily. So we'll wait for a pattern to form and we'll go from there. Okay, New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar has reached all the way up and made a new high. We have some highs up here that it's still come up and touch, but we're overbought on the RSI, so we're going to get some type of corrective movement, and then we'll look for more bullish movement since we are still bullish in this pair based off of this last bounce and the continued movement up. We are getting MACD divergence at this point, so price is pushing down. So using our tools, we are looking for price to come into our nice little sweet spot, come into our blue zone or our money area, and then move back north. So we're looking for price to come down into these areas, hopefully around in this area, and then make a nice move back bullish. Okay, let's go to the daily. Okay, price was in a ascending channel, formed that new high, and is now retreating from that high. We're almost oversold area. We still got more room to go down, so we'll see how far price moves down before it maybe goes back up and retests this high. We do have MACD divergence based off of this high and this high. So price is pushing down. Let's see how far it goes, and let's wait until a pattern forms. Let's look at the 4 hour. All right, see on the 4 hour, price bounced from this high, came down, gave us a bottom, gave us a top, gave us a second bottom. When you get that second bottom, you have to connect those two. Price moved back up and gave us another top. Okay, so normally what I do is once I get two bottoms or two tops, I'll clone the line. So if I clone this line here, I would have been looking for price to come into this area to make that bounce and go bearish. Price didn't go all the way back up, but once again, what did I tell you? We love some of our best trades come with retests of tops. So here's a top. This price retested this same area, gave us divergence, and that was a trade. And if you had taken this trade, you could have been up over 100 pips there. Okay, so this is how we use those retests of tops and bottoms to enter trades. One of our favorite trade entries. So price right now is moving up from a bottom, so we're waiting for a nice pattern to form before we look to enter. So right now we have a couple of bottoms, but not really a usable pattern. You could draw this and see how it would work out, but it doesn't look clean to me right now. So let's see what we get for this week's trading. Aussie dollar, pretty much the same as New Zealand dollar. Prices retested this previous high and bounced from there. We're looking for some type of continuation pattern to form and then more bullish movement on our weekly. On our daily time frame, we can see that price reached the overbought area, a top, and is moving down correctively. If price is moving down correctively, what happens after a correction? An impulse, correct. So it's usually impulse, correction, impulse. Okay, we don't have divergence on MACD, so we still looking for price to move down and then impulse up. Give us that impulse we're looking for to move up. So how far it moves down, we don't know. But based off of this previous bullish move here, we can see that we have down to the 76 area that it can possibly go down. I'm going to show you one thing here using our Fibonacci. If you've taken time to stay this long, let me show you how we use our Fibonacci to predict where price is going. Let's just say you were in this area. You had this movement up and this retracement. So using our Fibonacci tool, you can predict pretty much where price is going to go. Okay, so we have price retrace into our blue area, just barely hitting the green. Okay, so right now we're looking for blues since it didn't pass up our green. So let's go to the first blue, the 618. What happened there? We got a retracement. Let's go to our next blue. What happened here? We got a retracement on the lower time frame. You see the red candle. What happened on the next blue? Price went all the way up here and now it's retracing. Okay, let's see if it works on the next one. So let's try this movement up, this impulsive up, and the retracement. Let's see how the fib works on there. Okay, so if we move it over here, price once again went just into the green area, but it still held more in the blue. So let's look at our blues. Once again, here's the blue, 618. There's that retracement on lower time frame. Where's the next one? The 106.18, same place. This is one of the tools that we use to anticipate and predict where the market is going to go. Just another little bonus for you for watching and for being here. Okay, so what we have right now, price has made a bounce. Kind of a funky head and shoulders type, but it did give us one of those retest trades. Right there, price came down, came back up, gave us a retest into our blue zone, almost money area, and a bounce down. Let me just show you it with the Fibonacci so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so price came down, then it retraced back up just above the 786, so you could call it green or you can go blue, whichever one you go. Let's say you entered on the bearish impulse right there. So since it's in the blue, you're looking for blue. Next, your target would be here. That will be your target. And just to give you another bonus, your stop would be your 1272. Okay, so your trade should look something like this. Okay, and that's your first target. Your next target will be there. Yeah. All right, so let's go to the next pair. Enough information. All right, dollar peso, I'm going to leave it alone. Just one of the pairs that I look at sometimes. Let's get into our euro pairs. Okay, euro for July reached up and touched the previous high. So we're looking for a bounce this month for it to come back short. Okay, we're looking for short movement in the month of August. We have MACD Divergence. Let's look at our daily. Okay, on the daily, we have an expanding wedge right now. Okay, so if this expanding wedge holds out, what we'll be looking for here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and another wave to come south. Okay, so since we do have MACD Divergence on our daily, we're still going to look for this bounce move here. So right now in your lower time frames, you should be looking for this wave to come down here. Okay. On our 4 hour, we see we got a nice bullish impulse with, MACD Divergence. We are still looking for price to bounce from these tops. Okay, even though we have this nice bullish candle, we are looking for price to move shorter, not shorter, this week. Okay, so if we get a nice bounce, which we did earlier in the week, we had a nice bounce here. Price couldn't break this top and then started to move bearishly. And we have our RSI overbought. We have MACD bearish divergence. Everything is pushing south. So let's look for that type of entry for this week. Look for that bearish move. Okay, our Euro CAD. Euro CAD made a nice, pretty move this month. Okay, so price completed the flag and it's now giving us a nice bullish candle moving out on the weekly. Price still has room south, so it can turn around and go back and retest these lows. But right now we have a break of the flag, and using our tool, we are looking for price to move up at least to retest this area. Okay, so you're always, if you're long now, your first target should be your previous high. After your previous high, you're looking for either your fib extensions or look for the trend line bounces. Okay, so that's on the weekly. Okay, on our daily movement, we can see the break of the pattern here, clear break. Got 1, 2, 3 waves. Price is broken out, and right now we're over on RSI, so we're looking for price to give us some type of continuation pattern with another move up to retest these highs. Let's look at our 4 hour. Okay, as we see on our 4-hour, we're getting that same indications. Price is right in the top here. So all of these little tops, they're just right in RSI overbought area. And as I said, we're waiting for that continuation pattern to form in this area and then give us that move back north. So we'll wait for a pattern to form and then we'll trade the pattern. If price continues lower and starts trying to break some of these lows, we'll adjust at that point. Euro yen. Euro yen is in a funny looking expanding wedge pattern right now. So we've gotten a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and this would be the 5th portion of that pattern. So we are bearish in sentiment for this pattern overall based off of our monthly structure and our weekly pattern. So we're looking for short entries based off of our higher time frames. We've gotten some nice bullish impulses, but as you can see, we had a kind of a spotty one, pull back, stronger correction, and then a little weaker bullish impulse here. So price is starting to stall out at the top here. We've gotten a lot of little small candles, little dojis, and we're looking for the fall. On our daily, okay, on our daily, we have another one of our favorite entries here based off of retests of tops. So when a top or a bottom is retested, it can break that top, okay? But using our indicators, we see we have divergence. We have RSI divergence and we have a MACD divergence. So both of those indicators plus the retest of this top would give a trade entry. I don't usually enter on the daily, but just using the daily right now as a reference, we could use this second top and have looked for entry here based off of RSI's, RSI divergence, or MACD divergence, divergence trade, either way you want to call it. So we're looking for price to move down into this area based off of our fibs. We're looking for price to come down into our blue area or the green area. So if you're not in short, you can look for short entries based off of patterns. So right now price is holding this ascending channel, which should break down. We did have a bounce at this area. And once again, you can see right here at the top, there again, we have our top bearish movement retest. There's another possible entry here based off of lower time frames or this time frame. Depends on how aggressive you are. But if you had taken this trade, you would have been almost 100 pips in profit already based off of a bounce. So when I say a bounce, that means it's a confirmed trade entry. A bounce is not just a random candle moving from a trend line. When the price has bounced, it has given you a confirmed trade entry. Okay, so price bounced from this trend line, moved bearishly lower, retraced, and once again, it's giving you another bearish candle. So what we're looking for here is price probably to ride this line a little bit, maybe even retrace up here, but eventually to move out of this pattern and retest these lows. So we're looking for that bearish movement on the Euro Yen. Euro New Zealand. Okay, our Euro New Zealand, this did not update. Let's see. Let's fix these trend lines first. Okay, so our Euro New Zealand, it's a funky kind of pattern. You could draw it like this, or you can draw it from the most recent patterns. However you do it, as long as you know how to trade the patterns, you'll be fine. But price is moving bullishly now. On our weekly, we have had this low point here. Prices bounce off of that and is now retesting these highs. So this is the most high, and we have some lower highs on our lower time frames. So right now we have impulse, correction, impulse, major correction. So price right now could be forming a larger corrective pattern, maybe something like a big flag or a big descending channel, something like this. But anyway, it's a larger correction, so expect a larger corrective pattern. Let's look at our daily. Okay, you see how price bounced from this top, gave us a nice bounce on the bottom, bullish candle, correction, another bullish movement, and gave us a nice doji here. Price is giving us a RSI divergence. See, we have top here and the top here. This top is lower than this top. Okay, so this would be forming railroad tracks if this candle moved farther down. But basically, with this bullish candle, the doji, and the bearish candle, that is railroad tracks. Don't have any divergence on the MACD. So let's look at our 4 hour to see what we can see. Okay, on our 4 hour, we see prices pushing north, and now it's forming this corrective pattern eventually. Right now we have kind of a little two tops. So let's see where price will move from this point. We're over on the RSI, so price should move back up, and they'll give us a bottom here, and then we can see how price will form from there. So for right now, with our Euro New Zealand, we are still on a bullish sentiment right now. We're looking for price to form some type of corrective pattern and continue north. And don't forget the bigger corrective pattern that's forming also. So right now, if you want to look for some short-term trades, you probably can look for some bullish movement on the lower time frames until price forms and gives us a usable pattern to trade on our higher time frames like the 4 hour here or the daily. So until then, you can look on your lower time frames and see what sets up. Okay, Euro Aussie. As you can see, Euro Aussie has completed, or has looked to complete, a flag pattern here based off of this bullish movement, and now we have this flag correction. Okay, price is kind of in between, so we could have another wave short because we're, like I said, in the middle here on RSI, so we have a lot of room down, or price can break out of this pattern immediately. But right now on the weekly, we are bullish in sentiment, looking for price to break this expanding wedge pattern and continue north, test this high. Okay, on the daily, our daily here, we see this last week it broke the previous high, and now it's bounced on the top of this trend line. And that's the power of that wave analysis. See, by just having those 2 points connected and extending that line, it reaches right here and shows you where price should bounce and reverse. Okay, so once again, a bounce is a confirmed trade entry. So if you don't have a confirmed trade entry, it's not a bounce. Okay, if you don't have trade entries, trade triggers, then you need to talk to me about that. Or you need to go Google and find some. Don't trade without trade entries. Okay, so we see prices bouncing here. We're over on the RSI, not completely over, but enough for it to bounce. Let's look at our 4-hour. Okay, as you can see, price pushed up bullishly, corrected, pushed up bullishly, couldn't break that top, and now has bearishly pushed down, and we're looking to see what price is going to do now. And we don't have any MACD divergence. Price is getting almost oversold on the RSI, so price could form a corrective pattern and continue lower this week. Okay. Euro Chief, the turtle. Okay, the turtle broke out of this contracting wedge and has now pushed up, made uncharted highs. Not uncharted, but we don't have any previous structure on this side to look at except for the big fall from 2015. Okay, so that is the next high that we have available. So everything that it creates right now is there's no structure basis for it. Okay, so that's what I mean by uncharted. So right now we're over on RSI. We're looking for price to give us a continuation pattern and more north. No MACD divergence. Okay, look on our daily. Okay, on our daily we see the same thing. We see this contracting wedge, breakout, another flat, and then a breakout. And right now price is moving correctively. It's not giving us a bearish impulse to indicate that price is reversing. It is just moving in a corrective type way. Okay, see, as we see here, we have MACD divergence here on the 4-hour, but that also plays into the analysis that we're going to get a continuation pattern that can reach down into these areas and then another move north. So right now on the 4-hour and lower time frames, you can look for those short opportunities, but we're we're bullish overall, but you can look for bearish movement this week until it forms that pattern, corrective pattern, and then we'll look for the bullish moves. That is the turtle. The turtle has been running these last few weeks. So let's see, where could we expect the turtle to reach down? Of course, it can come all the way back down here, but once again, we look for the movement to stop in these areas and then move back north. Okay. All right, pound yen. Pound yen has a beautiful setup here. We have a nice bounce, strong impulse, retrace, another impulse, retrace, smaller impulse. Okay, so right now we're still bullish in the pair. So if we count these waves, here we go, 1, 2, yes, and a retest. So we're looking for this third wave to come back down. We're looking for it. But what price could also do is count this as the third, which means this would be the wave that's going to break out. It's just forming a corrective pattern now, and then it's going to move out. Okay, So you have those two possibilities. You can have this to give us another wave completely down, then bounce and move out, or this to be a corrective pattern and continue out this way. Okay, so once again, knowing the possibilities. You have to know the possibilities. And don't you see those trades right there? See, we had a top, second top, retest. There would be a possible trade. We had bearish movement, another retest, another entry, okay, on lower time frames. Let's look at our daily. Okay, on our daily, we can see a nice bullish impulse, descending channel or flag, whatever you want to call it. Another bullish impulse, bounce here, and once again, what do we see? One of those favorite trades. A top, push away from that top, and a retest. And then you get that nice trade right there. Okay, so price is currently in an ascending channel after the bounce. So we're still on lower time frames. Looks like we're bearish, waiting for price to complete the bigger corrective pattern. Okay, let's look on our 4-hour. 4-hour, you can see we had a nice bounce here. Okay, nice bounce. Once again, what do you see? Same thing, a top, push away, retest, drop. Too easy, too easy, too easy. So price is giving us a nice bearish impulse there and a small correction. We're over almost on the RSI, so we should expect a continuation pattern here to form eventually. It's not formed yet, and then more bearish movement until the bigger corrective pattern is formed based off of your daily time frame. Too easy, right? All right, pound cat. Pound cat looks similar to our euro cat, right? That's one of the reasons why when you're doing your analysis, you need to make sure and check the other pairs, the corresponding pairs, to see if you're on the right track. Okay, once again, we had a bullish bounce. We have a descending channel or flag. We're over here on the RSI, so we're looking for price to move back bullish. We had a low that wasn't tested, but price came very close to retesting this low, and it has reversed, pushed out really hard, and now has come back. So let's look on our daily and see what happened. Okay, so if we look on our daily, we can see this descending channel. Price stayed within the channel, broke out slightly, not really aggressively. So price can come back lower and retest these lows and even break below these lows. But right now, since we're not overbought, we still have more movement to the north that can happen. So we really have no usable pattern here on a daily. We just had the break of our descending channel. So let's look on the 4-hour to see what might be the possibilities. Okay, the 4-hour gives us a little clearer observation. We see price broke the highs, giving us now bearish, bullish sentiment on the 4-hour here. Created a new top. Top or high, same thing. I use the words interchangeably. Gave us a new top here. Price is pushed down. We're still in the middle of the RSI, which means we have a little bit lower to go. And price has formed a little corrective pattern here. Okay, so what we're looking for this week is for price to retest these lower areas before forming a corrective pattern on the daily. Okay, so on the daily, what we're looking for is the price to do something like this. If I can draw. Okay, so we're looking for price to do something like this, to make some waves within this area and eventually move north. Okay, so that puts us on our 4-hour here, maybe some extensions down into this area. So let's actually use our fib to see where price could go from this bearish impulse. Got a top where price first started to correct. Okay, and since we're very short in this area here, we only had a 236 retracement, which means it's a strong movement here. Okay, we should look for early corrections. Okay, early corrections. Okay, so these are our possibilities. So make sure you do the same thing. You can leave your fib up and look where price starts to correct. Okay, look where price starts to correct. Okay, pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand also in that strange expanding wedge pattern. We're looking for price to eventually break bearish and retest these lows, this lower trend line. Okay, continue bearish. So if we look at our pattern, we have 1, 2, 3 waves, which means this will be either a breakout wave or a corrective wave. Not corrective wave, sorry, another wave up to make a 5-wave structure. Okay, let's look at our indications. Okay, currently on our indications, RSI, it looks like it's moving up. Okay, and if it's moving up right now correctively, our next move should be impulsively down, which means this has a high possibility of being a 3-wave structure. And let's look on our daily, see if we get any additional clues. Okay, on our daily though, see we have MACD divergence. We have MACD pretty much at the same point here on our chart, but price, sorry, the price is at the same point on our chart, but MACD has given us a lower point and then a higher point, which would suggest now that price is going to give us another wave up. Okay, and I circled this portion to kind of give you the same, it's kind of looking the same. See it pushed down here, gave a bounce, a retest, which is an entry, and then a push up. So here we have bearish movement, the bounce, retest, and now we should look for some movement to push out of this area north. Okay, that's on the daily. Let's look at the 4-hour. Okay, on our 4-hour, you can see these movements a little bit more. There's another retest of a low with a divergence on the RSI and a divergence on the MACD. That would have been an entry based off of our system. So you would be in there all the way to the top. You would look for on a lower time frame for an entry going short here off of this bounce. Price currently gave us a nice bearish movement, correction, and it's still pushing down. So we're looking this week, price to come back down to retest this area, and we're looking for the bounce or a break when it gets to this trend line. Too easy, right? Too easy. Yep. Okay, pound Aussie. Pound Aussie. has given a nice bounce off the bottom or retest, bullish push, continuation pattern, and we're looking for this pattern to eventually break bullish. Okay, once again, even on a weekly, it gives you those retests of lows that allow you to enter. On our daily, see how price held within this channel. Nice bearish movements, nice bearish movements, nice bearish movements. Okay, so for price to continue lower, it would have to break this low and go and retest or go lower and test some of these areas on the green trend line. Nice movements in July, nice pips were made. Let's see how much it moved. In July we got almost 900 pip move down. And now we got that bounce, and we're looking for, see what kind of movement we can get today or this week. All right, so last week price broke out of the ascending channel, gave a little pattern, and it's still moving lower. Wrong tool. All right, so we're looking for price to get into this area here and retrace up. Otherwise, we're looking for price to start creating some new lower lows and lower highs. Okay, so we have a low here, a major low here. So no usable pattern now on the 4 hour. So let's wait until we get a pattern so we can trade the pattern. Okay, Aussie Yen. Aussie Yen is kind of in a limbo area. We did have a corrective move down. Price moved up and broke that pattern and is now in this area. We have MACD divergence, which is pushing down. We have RSI divergence pushing down. Okay, so price is bouncing off of this top. So we're bearish right now for this pair. We're looking for this wave this month. Okay. Daily. Wow, what do we see here? The same thing. Top, retest, entry. These trades are all day, every day, too easy. Okay, so we've had a retest of this top. Price is pushing down correctively. Okay, it's correctively. We still have more room south on the RSI, but price looks to form a bigger corrective pattern before moving farther down. So right now on the daily, we don't have any pattern except for this descending channel. Okay, so if we get a bigger pattern, then we'll adjust as necessary. But right now, the only thing we have is this bounce and this descending channel. So if price holds this descending channel, we'll look for another move up. Out of this channel and maybe another retest of these highs before going lower. So for this week, we'll look for price to range within this channel and see what type of patterns and setups we get based off of this pattern. Almost there, almost there. New Zealand next. Okay, Aussie Cat. Aussie Cat has a funky formation here, but price has been holding this line. On the daily, we have kind of a contracting wedge. Not really a clear, clean formation that I would like, a pattern I would like. Uh, RSI is in the middle in the limbo area, so not giving me anything I really like. We had a bounce, so price is still bullish in sentiment on the lower time frames, but nothing clean to enter on. As you can see, we still have that contracting wedge here. You can draw it tighter if you like. You can draw it in here. However you like to do it, as long as you know your patterns and you trade your pattern. But right now, price is still in limbo here. What we have, MACD divergence. So we have bearish MACD divergence, which means we should be looking for bounces on this top trend line on your lower time frames. Okay, you can look on your 1 hour. Okay, you can look on your 30 minutes, or you can look on your 15 minutes. We don't go past 15 minutes, just so you know. But those are, when I say go look on a lower time frame for entry, that's what I'm meaning. You can stay on your higher time frames, which is your daily, your 4 hour, or you can go to your lower time frames, your 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, but right now, price is not giving us anything for the Aussie CAD. Okay, Aussie New Zealand. Aussie New Zealand is still coming off this bullish bounce. It's formed a corrective channel, descending channel, and descending channels break north. Okay, so we're looking for this pattern to break north. Okay, let's look at our daily. So on our daily, price came up, gave us a little high here, and now a continuation pattern. So we're looking for price to move a little lower this week. We don't know exactly how far, but if it starts breaking lows, then we'll look for price to maybe continue down lower and maybe retesting somewhere down here. Let's look at our 4 hour. Okay, here's that channel here on the 4 hour. Not really clean, not something I really like, but like I said, it is tradable. He gave you a retest of a high here, short entry. We do have a little bounce here, but as I said, price right now is not giving us nothing clean on Aussie New Zealand, so I like to wait until I get a cleaner pattern to work with. 4 hour, I need a clean 4 hour pattern to start looking for my trades. So let's wait until we get that. Okay, Aussie Chief. Aussie Chief is in a ascending channel, which should break south. It's rising correctively, which means we should be looking for another movement south. We got a nice bullish movements here, nice candles. Let's look at our daily. Okay, daily. So let's look here. So you have right here, look at our RSI. RSI gave you a top here, a second top. Gave you one top here. Here's a second top. That's a RSI divergence. That could have been an entry on a lower time frame. Once again, you got a top, second top here. Okay, so let's use our fib just to see if you only had this pattern up to this pattern, if the Fibonacci could have predicted where the price was going to stop, or where price is going to give you a new reaction. Okay, so here's the top. Where do we got? We got retracement to the blue. Where's our first blue? What happened? Retracement. Okay, where's our next blue? Up here. So we should be looking for price to come up at least into this area. So if you were long from this pattern, that would be your next target up here. Or you can even target the top trend line. Okay, let's see if we walk that fib up, if it still works out the same way. So if I bring the fib from here to this area where price first started to retrace. So here we go. We got fib here. There's our blue right there. There's the one. Okay, so Fibonacci is a very important tool for us. Okay, so if we just use our fib based off of this impulse and this correction, price is right here. Okay, so that puts us right in this area for the extension. Okay, let's look at our 4-hour. Okay, as you see, price is in a channel here, descending channel. You can call it whatever you like, a flag. I always say it's a flag after it comes after an impulse. If it's just based off a pattern and a descending movement, then it's a channel. That's my definition. Okay. Let's see, we have nice bullish impulse here, flag, and now we're looking for price to move up from here. MACD's pushing down, RSI is getting into the over area, but right now it's in limbo. So not a good pattern right now to trade on the Aussie Swiss. All right, finally we're in the New Zealand dollars. Okay, New Zealand dollar yen, just like our Aussie yen, gave another nice bounce from off the top of this pattern. As I said before, I've made some great trades off of this pair because of when I learned how to trade about 2 years ago. I saw this, and this retest of this high, I got in here, took it here, then the retest again, and I wrote it down. Got in and out multiple times on this way down, but once again, it's giving you another test of that same high. Okay. On a daily, we got some RSI divergence entries there. Bounce, ascending channel, break of the channel, MACD divergence, all the things you love to hear as a trader to give you reasons to enter. Okay, so since we're in the oversold area on RSI, we're looking for some type of corrective pattern and a move down on the daily. On the 4-hour, you can see kind of a little funky movement here. No clear pattern yet, so let's wait until we get a clear defined pattern so we can look for entries. But price right now is bearish, and you're looking for bearish entries. But let's let our pattern form. Only a few more. New Zealand CAD. Okay, New Zealand CAD is in a ascending channel. Okay, looking for that to break down. On our daily, price pushed out of another ascending channel and is forming another ascending channel. So we had an impulsive bearish movement out, another ascending channel formed. Okay, so that's on our daily. We see RSI is moving up, forming a continuation pattern actually. So we're looking for another wave up to the top of this pattern. Let me zoom in a little. Okay, so we're looking for another retest of this top of this trend line here before moving down. 4-hour show it a little clearer. Okay, so we have a bullish impulse, corrective pattern here, and we're looking for another break or a bounce here Okay, so let's never forget that we need to know the possibilities. So when price comes to a trend line, you're looking for one of two things: a bounce, which means if we got a bounce, we would look for a short bounce, or a break. A break up, bullish, and a retest of this top trend line here, or at least this high. Okay, so let's see what price gives us this week. Right now, we're almost in the overbought area. We're getting MACD pushing down, so it's a higher probability that price will bounce this week. Well, let's see what we get. Finally, let me see, is this the last one? Yes, the New Zealand dollar chief, just like the Aussie chief, price broke out of this ascending channel, gave us a low, push back up here, and now in the overbought area. So we're looking for price to give us a continuation pattern and more north movement. Okay, on our daily, see it a little easier. We had another pattern here, a flat channel. Price gave us a bullish impulse, went over on the RSI. So right now we're waiting for another pattern to form to show us where we're going. We have MACD is pushing up, so it's not turning around yet. So as I said, we're waiting for a continuation pattern to form, some type of flag or flat, and more bullish movement. On our 4-hour, okay, 4-hour here is rising correctively. So we'll be looking for another move down eventually out of this pair. So price could form up either like this, it could flatten out, or it could continue in this type of a flag type pattern, move up and bounce from that area. You see the head and shoulders pattern that's given here on the 4-hour. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and the push down. Okay, so right now this week we'll be looking for a bounce in this area. Okay, it's not specifically on the top of this trend line because it hasn't given us a complete form top, and it does have more room north before it gets overbought. So this week we're looking for the move up and for price to break down eventually. Okay, so look for a break of this trend line, and once it gives us a usable second top, then we'll look for a bounce at that top. Well, that's all I have for this time. I'll be updating charts with trade setups that I see during the week, but from now on I'll just post the weekly and the monthly type outlooks on these videos. It's just a lot easier. I'll put some weekly updates on TradingView, but the majority of these setups, trade setups, on TradingView. Remember, a trade setup is not a signal for you to enter. It's just possibility. You have to confirm it, and you have to enter on an entry trigger.